When your cat sits on you, something happens in their brain that is almost impossible to overstate. In that moment, your cat has voluntarily suppressed one of their most powerful survival instincts, the ability to flee, and they've done it for you. This isn't just comfort-seeking behavior. What researchers in animal cognition have discovered is that the act of settling onto a human isn't random, isn't casual, and isn't something your cat does without awareness. And the full picture of what it means for your bond is something most owners spend years completely missing. Most people think their cat sits on them because they're warm. And yes, warmth plays a role. But that explanation is like saying someone married their partner because they have a good job. It's technically part of the truth, but it misses everything that actually matters. Here's what most people don't realize. Your cat could find warmth anywhere. The sunny patch by the window, the fleece blanket you left on the armchair, the laptop you definitely should not have left running on the couch. Heat is everywhere, but your cat chose you. And the reason why goes so much deeper than temperature. We're going to go through what is really happening when your cat settles into your lap, 7 layers of meaning that most owners never get to. And by the end of this, you'll understand why that soft, still moment between you and your cat is one of the most complex and profound things they are capable of giving. But there's one thing in particular I want you to hold in your mind as we go through all of this. There's a specific reason your cat sits on you that connects directly to the very first days of their life, something that gets wired into them before they can even open their eyes. We'll get to it near the end of this video, and when we do, it's the kind of thing most cat owners wish someone had told them years ago. 1. They are not sitting on you. They are claiming you. Before I tell you what this actually means for your relationship with your cat, here's the part. Most owners go their entire cat's life never knowing what feels like affection is simultaneously an act of ownership and understanding. The difference changes everything about how you see these moments. When your cat presses their body against yours, they're not just getting comfortable. They're doing something that is deeply, evolutionarily intentional. Cats have scent glands in several specific places on their body, around their cheeks, between their toes, at the base of their tail, and along their flanks. When they sit on you, when they knead your thigh with those slow rhythmic paws, when they press their side against your arm while you're reading, they are depositing their scent deliberately, repeatedly, on you specifically. In the wild, cats use scent marking to define 2 things: territory and safety. When a cat marks something or someone, they are weaving that subject into their own identity. In cat language, being marked doesn't mean being owned in a diminishing sense. It means being included. It means being made part of the colony's scent profile, the shared signature that says, this belongs with us. This is safe. This is mine. So when your cat sits on you and kneads your lap with those slow, heavy paws, they are writing you into their world. You are not just someone they live with. You are part of their identity. You are in their scent profile. You are, by their definition, family. And here's what makes this even more remarkable. Cats in multi-person households do not mark everyone equally. They are selective about who gets included in that profile. If your cat chooses to sit on you, specifically you, consistently you, they have decided on a level that goes beyond simple preference that you belong to them. You thought you adopted a cat. In their mind, they claimed a human. Think about that for a second. Most owners spend their cat's entire life thinking of themselves as the one who chose this animal. What is actually happening from the cat's perspective is the complete opposite. They evaluated their options, they assessed the humans available to them, and they chose you. Most owners go their cat's entire life never recognizing this signal for what it is. And their cats have been delivering it patiently and repeatedly every single time they've settled into that familiar spot on your lap. 2, your cat knows you're not okay before you do. Here's what most people miss. That moment when your cat appears out of nowhere on a hard day, the moment that feels almost psychic, isn't a coincidence. It isn't luck. And it isn't your cat simply following routine. It is detection. Active, biologically sophisticated detection. A 2019 study from Nottingham Trent University found that cats closely monitor their owner's emotional state and actively adjust their behavior in response to shifts in mood and energy. But the mechanism goes even further than behavioral observation. When your cortisol levels rise, the primary stress hormone in the human body, your body chemistry changes in ways that are physically measurable. Your scent changes. The micro movements in your posture shift in patterns a cat's visual system is specifically designed to notice. Your breathing becomes shallower and faster, and your cat, with a sensory system that processes the world at a level of sensitivity exponentially greater than yours, picks up on every single one of those signals. Here's the thing about what they do with that information. A cat who sits on you during your hardest moments isn't offering to fix anything. Cats are not wired to perform comfort the way dogs are. They won't rest their head on your knee and look up at you with wide, sympathetic eyes. That's not the language they speak. What they offer is something different. Presence. Deliberate, unhurried, warm, undemanding presence. And for an animal whose primary survival instinct is to stay alert and stay ready to move at any moment, choosing to go completely still on your chest while your stress hormones are elevated is an act that actually costs them something. To your cat, in that moment, you are not a calm and predictable environment. You are an altered environment. Your signals are different. Your energy is disrupted. And instead of retreating, which every instinct their body is equipped with would allow them to do, they press closer. They let their weight settle into yours like ballast. Most owners never realize that this is the moment their cat is working hardest to be there for them. It just doesn't look like effort. It looks like a cat sitting on your lap. And that's exactly the point. They're absorbing your disrupted energy and staying anyway, in silence, because silence is the most honest thing they know how to offer. 3. Warmth is the excuse. Trust is the reason. Stay with me here, because this is where it gets genuinely surprising, and it's where most owners realize they've been misreading one of the most important signals their cat gives them on a daily basis. Yes, cats are thermophiles. They love heat the way you love arriving home after a long, cold day. Their thermoneutral zone, the external temperature range, where they don't have to spend any energy maintaining their core body temperature, sits between roughly 86 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Room temperature for a comfortable human is often 10 to 15 degrees too cold for your cat to feel fully at ease. So warmth matters. Their drive toward warm surfaces is real and biological. But here is what the warmth explanation gets completely wrong. When a cat is in a vulnerable position, eyes heavy, muscles released, body low, and curled into your lap, they have reduced the reaction time to nearly zero. A cat sleeping on your lap cannot spring away in a fraction of a second. They cannot scan the room for threats. They cannot process an environmental change fast enough to respond to it at full capacity. They are, by every single measure of feline survival logic, exposed. Your cat knows this. Not in the way you know something you've consciously thought about, but their nervous system knows it with a precision that has been refined over thousands of years of evolution. Every time your cat melts into your lap, something in their threat detection system has to quiet down, has to step back far enough to allow the body to release. And the only thing that quiets a cat's threat detection system is genuine, deep, biological safety, not warmth. Safety. A 2022 study from Oregon State University found that when cats display relaxed, low-body resting positions on or near their owners, measurable drops in feline cortisol occur alongside observable reductions in vigilance behavior. Their body is not just enjoying warmth, it is entering a physiological state of trust, a state their nervous system will only permit in the presence of someone they have categorized at a biological level as safe. Your cat isn't using you as a heater. They're using you as proof that the world is okay right now, that for this moment in this exact spot, nothing bad is going to happen. And that proof is you. And hey, if this is making you see your cat differently, if you're starting to realize how much they've been telling you all along, hit subscribe. It's the best way to make sure other cat owners get to hear what their cats have been trying to say. Now, I want to tell you about something that happened to someone whose story I think a lot of you are going to recognize. Her name was Maya, and she had a cat named Fen, a quiet, grey short hair who had spent 3 years sleeping on her lap every single evening without fail. Then Maya got a new job. Longer hours, higher stress, a shorter temper. By the time she finally got home, she was never fully still anymore. Her attention moved fast, even when her body didn't. And slowly, over about 6 weeks, Fen stopped coming to her lap. He still slept on the couch. He still came to the kitchen at dinner. But the lap, gone. Maya thought Fen was upset with her, that he'd grown distant, independent, bored. She started second-guessing everything about their relationship, wondering if he'd ever really been close to her, or if she'd imagined it. What was actually happening is something we'll come back to. Because the answer and the reason Fen eventually returned is directly connected to what we're about to cover next. And it's one of the most important things in this entire video. 4. Your cat has been training you, and it has been working. Most people assume that when their cat wants attention, the cat simply comes to them. What most owners never realize is that the coming is only half of it. The other half has been a carefully constructed behavioral loop, and you've been inside it for years without ever knowing. Here's what is actually happening. From the very first time your cat sat on you and you responded by petting them, by speaking to them in that soft voice, by simply staying still and letting them settle, your cat logged that information. Action, sit on human. Outcome, warmth, touch, stillness, soft sounds, undivided attention. Your cat's brain, which is wired for pattern recognition in a way that rivals many primates, filed this away and began to apply it. They did it again, same outcome. And again. This is operant conditioning, and cats are extraordinarily efficient at it. A 2017 study published in the journal Animal Cognition found that cats are capable of single trial learning, meaning they can modify their behavior based on a single positive or negative experience if the outcome is significant enough. Your cat didn't need weeks to figure out that sitting on you produced the results they wanted. They figured it out fast, possibly the very first time. Now here is the part that is genuinely humbling. In this dynamic, you are not the trainer. You are the subject. Your cat learned your behavior, your specific personal patterns of response, and adjusted their own behavior to produce the outcomes they wanted from you. The warm, cozy moment on the couch where you didn't dare move because they looked so peaceful and you felt guilty even thinking about getting up. Your cat designed that. Not with conscious scheming, but with an intelligence that is constantly reading its environment and learning what works. This doesn't make the affection less real, it makes it more sophisticated. Your cat isn't sitting on you despite wanting something from you. They're sitting on you because being close to you is the thing they want, and they are very, very good at getting what they want. Which is one of the reasons Fen's disappearance from Maya's lap was so striking, because Fen had learned exactly how that experience was supposed to feel. And when it stopped feeling that way, he stopped seeking it. He wasn't rejecting Maya, he was waiting for her to come back to herself. 5. Where your cat sits on your body is a message, and it's specific. Here's where it gets really specific, and this is the part most owners have never once thought to pay attention to, even though it's been happening right in front of them. Your cat doesn't randomly select a position when they settle onto you. The location they choose is communicating something distinct about where they are emotionally and what they need from you in that moment. Once you know what to look for, you'll start reading it every single time. A cat who sits on your lap is choosing the most socially comfortable and emotionally moderate position available. They want closeness, but they also want the option of independence. From your lap, they can see the room. They can jump down easily if something changes. They can monitor their environment while still maintaining contact with you. It's affection with an exit strategy intact. And in the language of feline vulnerability, keeping that exit available means they are comfortable but not yet fully surrendered. It's trust at a measured level. Warm, real, but still guarded enough to be safe on their terms. A cat who climbs to your chest is saying something else entirely. They are placing themselves directly over your heartbeat and within close range of your breath. This is the most intimate physical position your cat can voluntarily choose. The research on neonatal feline attachment suggests that the chest position specifically mirrors the position kittens take against their mother's body in the first weeks of life, a connection we'll come back to in the next section, because it is the most important thing in this entire video. A cat who chooses your chest regularly has, on a neurological level, designated you as their primary attachment figure. A cat who settles on your legs or your feet is seeking connection while preserving a degree of their own autonomy. They're near you, but not merged with you. This is often the choice of a more independent cat who has nonetheless made a quiet decision that you're worth staying close to. It's not lesser affection. It's loyalty that respects its own boundaries. And a cat who positions themselves behind you, draped across your shoulders, curled above you on the back of the couch, or settled across your lower back, is doing something behaviorally remarkable. They have placed themselves in a watch point position. They can monitor the room. They are between you and whatever might approach from behind. They have appointed themselves your lookout, without you asking and without any expectation of acknowledgement. In feline social structure, this kind of positional guarding is something cats extend to other cats. They consider genuine companions, members of their inner circle. When your cat does it for you, they are treating you as a member of their social group, someone worth watching over, someone worth protecting, and that is not something cats offer to just anyone. 6. Every time they sit on you, their brain goes back in time. Remember what I said at the very beginning of this video, that there was one thing most owners wish they'd understood sooner? This is it. This is the one. And this is also where Fen comes back. When a kitten is born, they spend the first weeks of their life in nearly constant physical contact with their mother's body. They need her warmth to regulate their own temperature because they cannot yet do it independently. They need her belly with their paws to stimulate milk flow. They fall asleep pressed against her chest, and as they sleep, two things happen simultaneously and repeatedly. They feel warmth radiating from another living body, and they hear a heartbeat, slow, steady, rhythmic. A sound and a physical sensation that their developing nervous system begins to associate with safety before they have any other point of reference in the world for what safety means. This experience does not disappear when a cat grows up. It does not fade or get overwritten by adult experience. It gets stored at a neurological level so fundamental that it persists for the animal's entire life. It becomes the template, the original blueprint for what safe feels like in the body. A 2020 study from the University of Lincoln found that adult cats retain attachment behaviors that are neurologically consistent with the infant-caregiver bond formed in the earliest weeks of life. They don't simply outgrow their need for physical closeness and warmth as they age, they transfer it. In the absence of their mother, cats will redirect this deep attachment onto the human they have come to trust most. The person who is most consistently present, most reliably calm, most recognizably safe. So when your cat sits on your chest and you feel the full weight of them settle slowly across your ribs, when you hear the quiet beginning of their purr, starting almost before they've even found their position, what is happening in your cat's brain is a return. Their nervous system is receiving a set of sensory inputs: warmth, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the rise and fall of your breathing, and matching those inputs to the oldest template of safety it has ever recorded. You are not just a comfortable place to sit. To your cat, in that moment, you are their first memory of being safe. You have become the original feeling, the baseline, the thing everything else gets measured against. This is why some cats drool when they sit on you. It's why they knead with their paws, even though there is nothing to knead and no biological reason to do it. These are behaviors from the very first days of their life, reflexes that their brain is replaying because the conditions feel the same, because you feel the same, because you have become, in the architecture of their nervous system, the warmth and the heartbeat and the breath. And this is what Fen was waiting for. The evening Maya finally came home and just sat down slowly. No phone, no racing thoughts spilling out through her hands and her posture, no urgency in her stillness. She sat down and she was actually genuinely there. Fen was on the arm of the couch. He watched her for a moment the way cats watch things they're deciding about, quietly, with total attention. And then, in the unhurried way that cats do everything that truly matters, he stepped across onto her chest, turned once in a small circle, and lay down. His push started before she even lifted her hand to touch him. He hadn't been distant. He hadn't been punishing her or withdrawing because she'd done something wrong. He had been waiting for the sensory conditions to return, for her body to feel again like the place his nervous system had mapped as home. And the moment it did, he was there. Without hesitation, without reservation, she cried, she said later, just a little. And Fen stayed through all of it. 7. And the last thing to understand about your cat sitting on you is the simplest of every surface in your home, of every warm and soft and quiet thing available to them, of every person in your household they could have chosen, every lap, every chair, every sunny corner of carpet where no one would interrupt them. Your cat crossed the room and chose you. They reduced their ability to respond to a threat. They quieted the part of their nervous system that exists to keep them alive. They placed themselves in the most physiologically vulnerable position their body knows how to be in. And they did all of it voluntarily, repeatedly, and without any guarantee that you'd stay still or stop moving or keep them safe. Cats don't do this casually. They don't do this without reason. Every single time your cat has ever settled onto your lap, they have been telling you something that their species has no other way to say this clearly. That out of everywhere they could be and everything they could do with the small, precious hours of their life, you are where they want to be. Not because you're the warmest option, not because you're convenient, but because somewhere in the deep and wordless part of who they are, you have become the place where the world stops feeling dangerous. Your cat doesn't sit on you because they have nowhere else to go. They sit on you because out of everywhere they could be, you are the place they have decided is worth coming home to.